live on the Reinventing channels. Not sure where you're beaming in, either from Facebook or from YouTube or LinkedIn. But you can let us know wherever you are in the chat rooms that it's working for you. If you have any tattooer friends or family that you want to tune in or to have tune in, we're going to have a great discussion. Alex Van Dutch is going to be talking with Lou from World Famous Ink about the crazy, or maybe not crazy, about the changes in the regulations coming through Europe. Crazy, okay.
It's crazy.
And so it'll be a great discussion. And if you are tattooing, then you definitely are going to want to tune in because it's going to be very informational. And like I said, tag your tattooer friends and let us know that it is working. Okay, I'm going to let you know a little bit more about the Reinventing the Tattoo community because that's how we're beaming out. And like I said, this gives us time to make sure that it's all working. Reinventing is where tattooers, apprentices, collectors, and the curious are all encouraged to join in these live streams, real world events, to share, to inspire each other, ultimately to create better art and tattoos together. We are beaming out at least five times a week now, and with your help have evolved actually into a quality network of amazing live and on-demand tattoo shows. It's like the Tattoo TV network you wish you had. All you have to do is click the subscribe button. This is currently the history or the future of tattoo conventions with Alex Van Dutch. Given the crazy time and the topic, Alex is going to be diving mostly into the inks, but I'm sure we'll be touching about conventions. And then, if you are beaming in wherever, you always want to check out the app stores, either the Android store or the Apple store. Do a search for Reinventing the Tattoo. You can download the app. You'll get the notifications when these live streams are happening, and you'll never miss anything unless you want to. Let's see here. If you're not sure where to start with all of these things, like I said, we have art jams, we have drawing groups, we have 3 or 4 drawing groups where artists are encouraged to beam in and draw together every week. You can go to reinventing247.com, and it looks like a TV network. There's 5 channels, and you can kind of flip in between them to get a sampling, so you can check out what you like. If you're trying to recommend this to your friends and you don't know where they should start, again, Reinventing 24/7. If you scroll down to the bottom of that page, you could fill out your name and your studio address, and you can get a Reinventing sample pack. It'll have some inks, it'll have some cartridges, and it'll have, I don't know, some t-shirts and random stuff from Reinventing. But yes, it has to go to a studio. So if you fill in your studio info there, it's like I said, Reinventing 24/7. Okay, the weekly shows that we have. Is this working? Like I said, put in the chat room that this is going for you. I'm looking on the YouTube. Sorry, I'm teching as well as hosting. Okay, it's going off of YouTube, Facebook. Okay, well, thanks again, everybody, for tuning in. Okay, weekly shows. We have Reinventing drawing groups every Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard with Jason Leeser. Every Monday morning at 9 o'clock, there's an early bird drawing group with Kier. And again, these are drawing groups or artists of all skill levels are encouraged to zoom in. Mondays at 9 o'clock at night is the subscriber exercise with Guy Aitchison. So if you are a paid subscriber to the Canon, it's exceptionally reasonable for the value that you get. Not only do you get the full multimedia book video extravaganza, but you get exercises every Monday with Guy. He'll critique your work. Let's see, Tuesdays at 10 a.m. there's a drawing group with Ricardo. Wednesdays at 12 noon is the Tattoo Now show, although we'll be doing this one this Wednesday instead. We've got Thursdays at 10 a.m. is a subscriber fundamental exercise with Kier, specifically for apprentice types that may be intimidated by some of the other drawing groups. Thursdays at 12 noon is the Tattoo Collecting Podcast. Okay. The live stuff that is happening next year. We've got February 5th and 6th, Reinventing the Tattoo Live will be out at the Red Tree True Tubes compound out in Columbus, Ohio with Derb. We'll have art jam seminars. There's more info on the way. April 11th to the 14th is an inspiring tour in New Hampshire. Sean Barber and Nick Baxter already sold out, but if you go to inspiring.tours, you can get on the wait list for the next one. Let us know where you want to go. May 20th to the 22nd, we'll be out in Hell City, Columbus. July 8th to the 10th, Rock River Tattoo Art Expo in outside of Chicago, Illinois. It's tattooartexpo.com. July 29th to the 31st is the Rubber City Tattoo Invitational, Akron, Ohio, with hosted by Tony Urbanic. And then October 20th to the 23rd is a Paradise Tattoo Gathering at Jiminy Peak. Okay, let's see. Real quick, courses.reinventingthetattoo.com is where you find all the professional development courses that we have here on demand. That includes, let's see, the Andre Malcolm has a sleeve design or a koi design. We've got BJ Betts's lettering. Bob Tyrrell's got a black and gray. And again, guys got his Canon. Interstate Ink LA is a tattoo shop out in LA. It's their Instagram is at Interstate Ink LA. You may know Church. He does awesome realistic tattoos. Also does really cool sneakers. He's got a bunch of Vans, I think, that they look sick. Anyways, it's a tattoo shop. They're all clean and sober. So if you are recovering or you know an awesome artist or client who needs to be in a supportive environment, check it out. Interstate Ink LA. They're a massive support team. So yeah, it's a great spot to land, and it doesn't even make a difference. Obviously, if quality work is quality work. So just go there if you want. Check it out. Rawpigments.co is an ink company out in California. You can get the sample packs in that Reinventing 24/7. DLize Pro is known as Dermalize Worldwide. They have a healing wrap that is designed to breathe. So check out their videos. Tattoo Now, I do the computer geek stuff. I'm accepting a couple more clients. GabeRipley.com for free consultations. World Tattoo Events, thank you, Alex. It is the largest resource for tattoo conventions and events that exists. And I can say this earnestly, I did try to copy him, I swear, 10 years ago. It took me like 3 days and I gave up, and I was like, Alex, I don't know how he has the time. He keeps that thing up to date. And now in the COVID times, you could imagine he's working extra. So World Tattoo Events, check it out. And then last, but actually not least, actually the founder of Reinventing is Guy Aitchison, guyaitchison.com. And he is an inspiration. You could check out his artwork. It's out of control. His tattoos are, check him out on Instagram. Okay, I am going to hop in the background and hopefully only pop out for cool things that people are saying if in the chat rooms and stuff. Thank you for bearing with that intro. Cheers, Alex. So take it away, Alex.
Thank you, Gabe, for the introduction.
First, Alex, maybe just Gabe, I mean, it's awesome to hear all the great stuff you guys are doing. You know, you got a lot of awesome things going on for the industry. It's good to hear.
Oh, I appreciate that. And well, again, I'm leaving it to Alex to give you the proper introduction cool. For you. Cheers.
Well, it's going to be a lot shorter than yours, but thanks a lot, Gabe, for the introduction. Yeah, today we have a very special guest on board here, Mr. Lou Rubino, big boss of world famous Tattoo Inc. And I'm Alex from World Tattoo Events. I'm usually the guy who talks about tattoo conventions. And this is today a different edition because we're going to talk about inks. And the inks are very much related to tattoo conventions because, as you all know, there is this tattoo reach, also known as the ink ban, being implemented in January 2022. So in a bit less than 2 months, which is probably going to have like a huge impact on the tattoo industry and the tattoo conventions industry as well. So Lou, well, again, thanks for being here today. And the first thing I would like to ask you is like, how are you doing? And I haven't seen you in a long time, so you probably will have a lot to say, but.
Yeah, so it's been quite a while traveling with, obviously with COVID, nobody's been really traveling. So I haven't really been to any worldwide conventions like I was traveling. So the COVID kind of just stopped short. Last show I was at was, Milano in February of 2020. And that's when COVID just started kicking up right after that, real strong. Italy was shut down pretty much right after we left. But, I'm hoping to, get things started again and really get out there. I miss everybody, all the artists and friends that we see at the shows. It'll be really great to see everyone. I plan to be at Milano coming in February. So hope to see you there.
So that was your last show before the pandemic, and it will be your first show again.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
Well, yeah. Any shows in US?
Yeah, I mean, there are shows happening. I haven't really been to But there are shows going on. Our crew goes out to the shows, but they're scattered. They're getting canceled. They're getting moved. It's been really, really hectic over the last couple of years now. Who thought that this would go on for a few years? Yeah, we're still out at the shows. For me, it was good, time to just kick back, relax a little bit, enjoy the family, spend a little more time with the wife and kids, and, really just sit back and think and concentrate on, the operations of the business. We made a lot of changes in the operation. So it was a really good time to just sit back, not travel, and concentrate on that.
Yeah, and in the meantime, I see you've been growing, by the way, with your businesses. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you're busy with a lot of different projects.
Yeah, COVID and all. It's been fantastic for us. We had a little dip down in April and May of last year, and then from there it's just been just soaring. So it's great. Obviously, tattoo artists are still tattooing, and that's great to see. I know there was many shutdowns where shops were closed for a while, but everybody's getting back to it and doing good business.
Yeah.
So.
People are dying to get tattooed after a couple of years, without being really.
Yeah, my shop in New York City, we were closed for 4 months. It's crazy, we shut down completely. New York City was like shut down for 4 months, and then we finally were able to open back up. And but the artists are busy. People are still coming in like crazy. And even though New York City's been like shutting down, like limiting people ability to come in there, and you can't go to restaurants now without a vaccine or concerts. So it's a little crazy.
Right. And anyhow, like after 2 years of COVID, then as soon as probably, it looks like it's anyhow, we're getting out of it. And then next year we'll have a new challenge. We have this ban of inks, at least in Europe. This is something which has been, or people have been talking on for about over 10 years. And I think like just lately, at least I realize how much impact is this going to have. And I was just telling you, like we had this chat with Mario Bart that was a few weeks ago, and he was very vocal also previously with this coalition for tattoo safety, and yeah, from there, and then you came out, and as far as I understood for him, like the problem was that there is no real at the time when we spoke to him, there was no real alternative coming out for those banned pigments. And then a few weeks later, you came out with your announcement, like, "Hey, new pigments are on the way," and so that got us very excited. So I say, so this is why we called you, like, Lou, can we have a chat about that and what exactly is going on? And so
I didn't see the one with Mario. I'll check it out.
Yeah, so, that was inside the event of Gabe. So that was recorded inside the event, and it's inside the catalog of Reinventing the Tattoo.
Cool.
Well,
check it out.
We'll share it here. So yeah, that was a very interesting conversation with him, and we learned quite a few things, especially me. So the first thing I would like to ask you is, like, what's your perspective on this new REACH regulation coming out in January 2022?
Mm-hmm. So the regulation, the biggest problem with the regulation is that there's no backing on why they are doing this. These are pigments and products that we have been using for so many years in tattoos without any issues. So what's the problem? Why are we doing this? I know they're very proactive in Europe, and they're, really trying to push ahead on things that, sometimes don't make sense, especially for the tattoo industry. There's more chemicals and heavy metals in the food you eat every day. And it always bothers me that, like, here we're gonna, ban tattoo pigments that have no known allergens or reactions, but you could smoke cigarettes, and it's known to give cancer, so it's just weird the way things happen. And I guess the tobacco industry has great lobbyists that work with them and, fight.
A lot stronger, yeah.
Okay, they have to put on there, may cause cancer or something like that. But, like these pigments are not creating problems. There's no proof of anything that is harmful. Our bodies take in chemicals every day from foods we eat and, medicines and anything like that. So,
Even water.
our bodies are used to stuff like this and pushing it away. And the big thing is too is how much of like how much of that ink, like they test a bottle of ink, how much of that bottle of ink actually goes in the skin. We pour it into a little ink cap. There's a little bit of ink there, and you dip your needle in, and then you tattoo it on and smudge the rest away, right? I'm a tattoo artist. I've been tattooing over 30 years, and how much of that is actually going into the body, and most of it is encapsulated in the skin. It stays in the skin layers. It doesn't really go anywhere. So
no, it's supposed to stay there, right? So
yeah.
I mean,
so how is it really harmful? Like show us some proof, and then it can make sense. But
in the history of mankind, how many deaths do you have because of or skin cancers proved by, for example, by pigments?
Right. Yep. None. So
no.
Yeah. So, that's my biggest thing with it is like, I could see if there was some sort of proof or something. I mean, the proof is that we've been using these tattoo pigments forever, and the tattoo industry has grown so much, and, we all have this, I got the pigments here in my body, so I don't have any problems, so it's just, the way they go about things and, do it. It's just kind of, and it's not fair to the industry because, the manufacturers have to go through major changes. We got to stop using pigments that we've been using since I've been making tattoo ink. Back in 1998, I started my first company, and, since then, we've been using the same pigments without any issues. And now we got to switch to other pigments that we have no history with. Is that better? No, I don't think so.
That's a good point.
Maybe give us more time. Give us 5 years to test these pigments. Let's see what the end result is in 5 years of these pigments. Now we have to go to pigments that, have not been used before.
Right. So that's a good point because I mean, but you've been working on a new line of pigments, right? Is this something you've made completely like in-house, or you've been collaborating with other companies to produce that? Because I do, like as far as I understood, it was very, very hard to create some new pigments that you guys have been using for decades. And now we had to come up with something completely new, basically. So is this something you develop yourself, or you collaborated with other companies or producers?
So just so you understand, the powder pigment, nobody in the tattoo industry can manufacture. That's like major chemical companies make these powder pigments.
Right.
Okay. So, we just had to source new pigments and make sure that the quality of the pigments that we are buying are very, very high level and cleaned. They go through a cleaning process too, to make them, less chemicals or, heavy metals in them. So, that's the whole thing. It's, so it's a lot of sourcing. We spent, the first 6 months of this year just working on sourcing new pigments and testing. So, our R&D team worked really, really hard to source out all the best pigments that we can, and testing, sending out to multiple labs, just because even labs couldn't keep up with the testing that we were doing. So we ended up using like 5 different labs, sending out different products to each lab. And then that's the other thing too, is that they made the regulations so stringent, the levels are so low that most labs can't even test for it. So
they cannot detect those chemicals or something.
They can't detect to that low level. So what happened was, we had to pay these labs to come up with the ability to test, in that level. They
That's a
had
crazy
to come up with a
situation.
whole testing procedure. So we had to pay them to actually, come up with that. They don't do it on their own. So, it's been a long road to get to where we are now, but it's very difficult. I mean, even simple things like, first off, every tattoo ink on the market is no good with the new regulation that was on the market previously. And, it's simple things like even alcohol. You can't put alcohol, isopropyl alcohol is in probably every tattoo, So it's a lot of simple things like that, just have to completely change. That makes every pigment, no good that was on the market before for the new regulations. So, we had to reformulate. It's not just changing pigments, it's reformulating the whole formula. And you have to go through this whole list of chemicals and everything and make sure that, everything you do passes, and, do all this testing on it. We tested all the raw materials, and we, tested finished product, and, it's the biggest, honestly, it's just like, the time that it takes to do all that testing and trying to push the labs to move quickly is just crazy. That's why we ended up using like 5 different labs to do all this stuff, to be able to, keep up. And, we got multiple labs even doing the same type of tests just because they can't keep up. There's so many tests that we're doing. We even tested product that we made like 6 months ago. We retested it again in a month, retested it in 2 months, 3 months. So, we're just doing everything we can to make sure that the new product that we developed, passes all the regulations. And we have to.
And at the same time, they're gonna be as good as, like all the products that you artists were used to, right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Well,
they're gonna have the same standards, right?
Right. The blue and green pigments, that's a 2023. So, right now for 2022, you can still use those pigments. Okay.
Okay. So that's good to clarify.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of confusion there.
Yeah. Hopefully, we can get that lifted. We have been working on evidence for that too, and why these pigments shouldn't be banned, especially the blue, because the blue is like difficult to replace. No blue is going to be like that.
No blue is going to be blue enough, or like the original one.
Yeah. So, and then also, we're using blues and yellows to mix to make greens. So, green 7, it would be nice if we kept it because it's the strongest, best green in tattooing. But, we can mix blue 15 with some yellows to make a bunch of greens, and it'll be okay. Like, that's,
and you can work around it. Yeah.
That's not the worst. And then there's, green 36, which is okay. So, so there are some options with the greens, and like they said at the ECTP World Pigment Conference. I don't know if you guys watched that, but it was, just all about the regulations, and a lot of people going up there talking about it. And there was a talk from a guy from Cosmetic Regulatory, and he had said that, he thinks we have a chance of fighting the blue 15, which is great. That was good to hear. I've talked to
like on a legal level against the institutions, you mean?
Yeah.
Right.
If we, hire a lawyer and just try and, really go after, the regulation and just say like, there's no options for this, there's no changes, there's really no problems with it. And like I said, we're gathering evidence of why it's not a problem. And everybody should be doing that, and, getting together and helping to, fight this thing together as an industry. Is there any real cohesion like between the different manufacturers? Producers at this time, there is really nothing set solid, that's working. In the past, we've had like APT and USA, Alliance of Professional Tattooers, but it was always tattooers. It was never suppliers. manufacturers. It was just always, tattooers, and they always shied against having suppliers in there, so National Tattoo Association, I mean, it was, National was involved, but I don't think that they allowed other businesses like, competitors. So, so I think it's definitely something that, needs to be done and should be done so that we can have a chance. Otherwise, we really don't have much of a chance. I've been talking a lot with a lot of the other pigment manufacturers in the United States. I'm pretty friendly with everybody, and we've gotten on some calls and just, we talk, and that's it, so maybe one day we could put something together, get a bunch of people together and, really, fight for our industry, for the industry that we love. And, I grew up in this industry. My father was a tattoo artist, and, I want to fight for it, and make sure that, it's around for my kids too. I mean, my kids are all tattooed up, so let's enjoy it.
Third generation, right?
The art has come a long way, it would be a shame to ruin it now.
Yeah, no, sure. I mean, and do you see this happening like that, if some of those regulations are now being implemented or enforced in Europe, do you think this is something that could, for example, move to US as well in terms of regulations?
Absolutely. So FDA is already looking at the tattoo industry. They're trying to figure out what they're going to do. They're not sure exactly. I don't know. But there's also a group called AFTO that is like a nonprofit organization that sits between regulatory and the industry, kind of probably similar to ECTP, in Europe. And it's a group of regulators and FDA members that are trying to figure out how the regulations can be followed by the industry, because FDA considers us cosmetic,
yes.
But we, Tattoo Inc. is really not fully falling under cosmetic. It really should be its own category. And that's one of the issues too. They always try and tie us into other things, like the Blue 15 was originally banned in hair dye. So they say, oh, well, hair dye banned it. Yeah. And I heard it was staining like on the head and stuff, but okay, well, we're doing permanent tattoos. We want it to stay, so, they don't have separate categories generally, in some of these countries, especially USA. So, if they, would create a separate category for tattooing, it would be a lot better.
Yes, well, I think that's a common problem in a lot of countries. I mean, not only for, I think, the manufacturers aspect, but also for studios and stuff like that. Like in some countries, you want to register as a tattoo studio. There is no category for it, and now you will have to register like as another type of business, which is not the case. But so in terms of your new line, which is called Limitless, for those new inks, how far are you in terms of the range of colors which are currently available, and what exactly do you expect to produce between, probably now you talk about the blue and green, it will have to be replaced in 2023. So what kind of colors that will have to be replaced now in January?
Primarily reds and yellows. Right.
Okay. And you have already a full range for them.
Yeah, we have sourced other pigments for the reds and yellows. We've gotten some really good, close, similar pigments that are just much cleaner, and we were able to produce them, and we've been testing them, and they're working out really, really well. So other than that, I mean, and orange, too, is another one. But we were able to replace those colors with really good pigments. So we're going to have a full line, for 2022. We're producing them already. We probably have already produced 50 colors for World Famous, and we're bottling it and getting it ready. And
Shipping
then
it.
we're just going to keep continuing. So, by the end of the year, I would say we can have another 100 colors done, and then we'll just continue to produce more colors through January, February, and till we have, a really full line. But this also gives us an opportunity to reinvent the line a little bit. So we, I wanted the line to be there, to be no confusion. So in the past, I've done stuff where we've had colors that are for Europe and colors that are for US, or like Germany already.
Why is that?
Just because there were pigments that you couldn't use in Europe.
Right. Okay.
You use them in
Already.
Europe,
Okay.
US. So in the past, we've had that. And then also Germany, Green 7 has been banned in Germany for many years. So,
yes.
We haven't, that's why I'm saying, like, we mix a lot of the greens together with the blue 15, and yellow. So, we already did stuff like that, and it's a big headache, so, like our distributor who would have to not be able to order these colors, but can order these colors. And we always had to have separate lists. So that's why with this and the new regulations, I've decided to just put a completely new line out. So now everybody knows that if you buy world famous Limitless, it's made for the European regulations. And we're going to sell it worldwide, just in case other people want to use, these pigments and try them and test them and see how they are. But first, we're just going to sell it in Europe because we want to be able to make sure that we have enough product, because demand, I think, is going to be pretty big at the beginning of the year, so that we have enough product to support Europe, and then we'll move on to other areas. And
do you think this is going to become like a worldwide standard on a long term?
I don't know. We've been talking also to Australia. Their health authorities contacted us about new regulations that they're creating, which is cool. I like that instead of just like saying, boom, like Europe, here's the regulations, you're stuck with it. They're like really reaching out to people, we had a video conference, I had my whole R&D team on there, our safety manager, everybody was on there, and a regulatory group. We have formed a little regulatory group within our company, and we were all on there, and we were talking with them and telling them what we didn't like about the regulations. And actually, they brought up that the European regulations were too strict and that they weren't going to do that.
They told you that.
Yeah,
that's a good. You're moving in the right direction then.
Yeah, that was good to hear. So I was excited about that. So we actually did a bunch of paperwork and sent them a bunch of information on why we think the regulations are too strict, and what they can do better as the health authorities for Australia.
Yes. And in terms of longevity of these new pigments that you're making, according to your testing, do you have any information about that?
Well, I mean, really, time will tell.
Time will tell, right?
Everything performs differently in the body, So, we've had great results over the last 6 months of testing, but, that's why I wish they would give us more time. I mean, you really should be testing for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, before you put new products on the market like this.
Sure.
Under normal circumstances, but they're not giving us that time. So we have tested them. They're working great. They look good. The light fastness numbers, like the pigment companies will give you light fastness numbers. They're really high. Some are even higher than the reds and yellows we're currently using, which is great. But is that going to hold up in the skin? Is that going to be the same in the skin as a tattoo? That we're not.
So time will tell.
Sure. Yeah, time will tell. And I think we've done really well, and we worked really hard. We got an awesome R&D team who, really, I mean, this last year was like hectic for them. I mean, they've been working overtime every week, working weekends, Saturdays, Sundays, like coming in you know, making batches and test batches and, you know, sending stuff to labs, visiting labs and, you know, discussing with them what our needs are and just really trying. I mean, this is basically what we've spent our whole entire year doing.
During the pandemic, you've been working on that basically. I mean, that was your chance actually. I mean, if you didn't have the pandemic, maybe you would have been able to come up with this.
It's
with
true.
This
like what I said, like if I was traveling all over the world, I probably wouldn't have been able to sit back, think about this and really concentrate on it with my team. And, you know, we've built a new facility too this past year. So it's pretty awesome. We got a huge, enormous clean room and, you know, all new equipment to be able to keep up with volume just because we've been growing so rapidly. And, you know, we've implemented ISO 13485, which is medical grade ISO. And, you know, we're just, you know, setting the standard and just keeping, you know, our products safety as safety and quality are our most important things for our company.
Of course, yeah. And one more important aspect, how about pricing? Would that still be the same, or is it going to be any significant difference there?
Yeah, that's we're still working on trying to figure that out.
That's a nasty question.
Yeah, it really is, because there's no way. It's not possible to be the same price. I mean, first off, some pigments that we're buying now are 10 times the price as a powder, you know, of what the original pigment was. I mean, it's crazy. You know, so it's something that we haven't figured out 100% yet. I think by the end of this week, we have our accounting team just working on it and trying to make sure, because, you know, we're working on formulas as we go. And, you know, we have to figure out what the pricing is going to be. I will tell you, every single product we put into the ink is more expensive. Everything. And then you also got the products that we were putting in the ink all went up. You know, prices are going up. You have supply chain issues. TiO2 was on a shortage for a little while there, and, you know, just
high energy costs
and everything, and logistic costs. It's crazy. I mean, the hyperinflation here in the United States has just been, you know, out of control. Every single thing is going up, you know, like ridiculous amounts. So, yeah, unfortunately, I don't know exactly how bad it's going to be, but there's no way that the ink can be near the price
cheaper
right now. Yeah, unfortunately.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, fair enough. I mean, this is what it is. I mean,
and then you talk about all the testing that goes into it, and, you know,
the labs.
You know, we have to test every single batch. We can't let a batch go out without you know, knowing 100% that it passes, because, you know, it's going to be, you know, they're going to be very strict on this, you know.
You mean you got to certify every single color so you put in the market, so that requires like a separate certification or something, like for the European community?
There's no real certification body. So basically they leave it up to the manufacturers, but we have to put out certificates of authenticity and conforming, you know.
So you produce the certificates, basically.
We produce certificates that say everything that we are giving you passes the regulations, you know, and it's you know, we've tested for it, and, you know, we'll show all the categories and everything that we've tested for, show our ingredients deck on there, and, you know, everything's been checked and lab tested as a raw material, and then again as a finished product.
Right. So, you know, realistically speaking, how do you think the life of the average tattoo artist, you know, is going to change as in January? You know, they can only rely, as far as I know, on your new products. Are you aware of any other manufacturers like coming out with new lines of inks which comply with the new regulations?
I'm not really
sure. Care about it?
Yeah. I mean, people are working on it 100%. You know. You have to be. I mean, there's no question, but I'm not really sure who's got anything else ready. I haven't really seen anybody posting anything, or you know, people haven't really told me that they're ready. So, but I'm sure that everybody's working on it, especially all the bigger ink manufacturers are definitely working on it and testing through and products.
Do you think this will have an impact as well on tattoo conventions? As in January, maybe in Europe, we can go back to conventions, or Milano. How do you see it?
One of the things I was concerned with is, artists traveling with their ink, so
Yes.
if you have an artist coming from another country outside of the European Union and they're traveling in with ink that doesn't pass and then tattooing at a convention, that could be a problem. I mean, I don't know if people are going to, are they going to be going around checking, or when you come in with the inks, will somebody ask questions about it? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that, but that's where I see the issue being. I think all the European artists will have to have, the inks that pass the regulations for their tattoo shop and everyday tattooing. So they'll be bringing that with them to the shows, and we'll be at shows, of course, with the product. So people can buy it at the shows, but I don't know about traveling in with other inks.
No, yeah, that's a good question. I mean, this is what I was wondering about as well. I mean, especially if they come from other like they come, let's say that they will be able to come from US to Europe and they bring some of their own inks and they go to Europe and they, and they won't be able to use them. So, but what I'm wondering about is who exactly is supposed to, for example, check those inks at conventions. I don't know if there is a body which is going to be able to do that in practice.
It's like the health police. They have like health police in Europe that come around to shops and check, and they've come to the conventions too. I've seen them at the conventions.
No, I know, but they're gonna check bottle by bottle, like they're gonna. For example, let's say that
I don't know.
Let's see, like, what famous ink, like at some booth from some artists are gonna check, like, well, is this for the European market? This one for the American market? You know what I mean? They gotta have quite some knowledge in understanding what they're looking at. Which
I really don't know, and I mean, will they start checking immediately is another question, or are they gonna slowly get into checking stuff? We don't know what
there's no timeline there.
Yeah.
Let's talk about something a little bit nicer. How about your project with Virgin?
That's much nicer.
There you go, bam, man.
So yeah,
you are Richard Branson. What's going on, man?
So we're supposed to tattoo Richard on his birthday in the summer. I worked on this thing for like 5 years. It was supposed to launch in March of 2020, and due to COVID, got delayed, of course. And it's pretty awesome though, because the tattoo parlor, it's the first ever tattoo parlor built as part of a cruise ship. And it was
inside a cruise ship.
Like I actually was working with them on the plans for the ship, the location, the design of the studio, and the architects and everything, drawing everything out. And then I was able to, the ship was built in Italy, in Genoa.
Oh, there you go.
And I was able to go to Genoa and just see the ship built from the ground up, making a few trips, going to visit and seeing like raw steel, like just the entire ship, and like, okay, this is your space here. Like, wow,
that's the studio.
Yeah. And then now it's this beautiful ship, and Virgin likes to do things that are outside of the box, so that's why this worked out. A tattoo shop on the ship with them, because they like to do things out of the ordinary, which I think is awesome. I love it. And it's great for the tattoo industry. Just one more accomplishment over the years. I don't know if you know this, I opened up the first tattoo parlor inside a professional sports arena too, with the New York Islanders hockey team many years ago.
Oh, wow. No, I didn't know that. No.
Yeah.
There is too many things to keep up with.
I love to do things like that, just really bringing the tattoo industry to new levels. And, it was really cool to work with Virgin. They're a great, fun group to work with. And they do some really cool things. Like they have drag queens on the ship, and they do like, instead of like every ship does bingo, they do bingo with drag queens. They got all these drag queens running around, and then they have ice cream event called Lick Me Till I Scream by these drag queens.
Those are some great ideas there.
Yeah.
Interesting.
They're very cool to work with outside the box. And, you know, it was interesting to me too, because thinking about, like, they show you like videos on working in the Virgin way and stuff. And I was like, that's kind of like the way I like to do things, you know, be disruptive, you know,
Yes.
and do things that are out of the box, you know. I mean, it's fun. It's exciting to do stuff that way, you know, not to
But
just.
how did you get in touch with each other? I mean, how did you get started on this project? I mean, it's like you call Richard or something and say, I have this idea.
Actually, it was the idea of one of the directors at Virgin. And he actually was contacting different people, and you know, they were interviewing people to take this on, you know, and it came down to just a couple of us in the end, and then they ended up choosing me to do it, you know, just because of the great experience that I've had in the tattoo industry. And I used to own 7 shops on Long Island before I moved to the Carolinas, and you know, used to running multiple businesses at a time, you know, the ink, the supply company. So you know, they really like that, you know, and I've done the conventions. They came to my conventions, to my shop in New York City, check it all out, you know, and you know, we ended up making a deal on it, which was great, you know, and the artists love it. I mean, come on, what's not to love? You go on a ship, you get a suite. So we include with the for the tattoo artists, you know, they get a nice room, and they get you know, all meals included too, so they can go to the restaurants and eat. And you know, it's definitely a fun time, fun experience for artists for sure.
They get paid to do a nice holidays on a boat, basically, right?
And they can actually bring their significant other or a friend with them, you know, like, and it's to stay in their room, you know, with them. So
how long is the queue of tattoo artists waiting for that?
Oh, it's like 6 months now. Yeah. So we stopped taking any more reservations, you know. So you know, we'll work on it again soon, but we have the second ship. So the first ship is United States. Well, actually we did first. It went in UK for 1 month in August, and then came down to Miami, and is running out of Miami to the Caribbean, you know, starting in October. And now the next ship is coming out in 2022. We have one in Barcelona. That's going to be leaving Barcelona, going to Italy and Spanish Islands. And then
Mediterranean, nice.
Yeah, and then the next ship is actually going to the Greek islands. So it's going to be really cool, you know, have different trips, you know, an artist can even bounce around, go on the cruise out of Greece, go to Barcelona, go to USA. So
I'm jealous. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah. And then there's going to be a 4th ship. So the plan was 4 ships. So the weird part is they were supposed to be spread out a year apart. Like the first one was 2020, then 2021, 2022, 2023. So, but now they're all coming out like this year, you know. So it's pretty nuts.
So it's gonna stop there, or you're gonna add 4 more ships in the coming years, or?
Well, I mean, that's up to Virgin. I mean, right now their plan was for 4 ships, and you know, it's going really well. And even with the capacity, like we started out at like 40% capacity and brought it up now to 60% capacity because of COVID. With that capacity, the artists are booked solid. So
all the time.
Yeah, it's been fantastic, you know, really good.
Great.
We have a piercer on board also. So, and we have like Neo Metal Body Jewelry and Anatometal and a bunch of other brands that we, you know, sell on the ship too, which is pretty cool.
Nice. How big are those studios in the ships?
What's that?
How big are those studios? And how many artists do you have in
so it's not that big, but we have 3 chairs. So we have 2 tattoo artists and a piercer.
All right. Okay.
Sometimes we might rotate out the piercer for a tattoo artist or a permanent makeup artist. And then it's got like a little waiting area, like a retail area we sell t-shirts and jewelry and stuff like that, aftercare. And then, you know, but it's open up right there to the ship, and you got a big like lounge right in front of it. And then there's a brewery right across from us. There's a casino to the right, a bunch of restaurants to the left, you know, barbershop next to us. there's spa, I mean, they got everything. I mean, it's really
So it's
cool.
also like very accessible. People just have to get in. I mean,
Oh yeah.
Yes.
It's in the center of the ship, you know, right
in the
by
center.
stairs that come up. Yeah.
So you got the best position too. Incredible.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Really
Can't
good.
wait to see that. So Lou, well, I mean, I'm gonna see you next in Milano eventually, right? That's your first. That's the first convention you plan out. Anything else you plan out for next year so far?
Not yet. That was the first one that we're working on planning. So you know, for a big splash next year. So
Yes.
we'll be there, and yeah, I can't wait to see everybody. It's been so long, you know. It's going to be good to see everybody and hang out with a lot of the artists and just have a good time.
Same here, man. Well, Lou, it was great to talk to you, and thank you for giving us the opportunity to get to know a little bit more on what's probably going to happen next year with inks and everything. So yeah, Gabe, is there anything else you want to add here?
No, that was awesome. I definitely had a great time listening in, and yeah, no, that was great. Let's catch up with the replays.
Yes. Okay.
Cool.
Lou,
Awesome. Thanks,
again,
guys.
Thanks a lot. Anything else you want to add, Lou?
Oh, Lou, did you give like a full on, like, this is how to find like all of my companies and all the contact
Exactly.
info and all that?
Sure.
Big list.
Email, yeah. So shop at World Famous Tattoo Inc. Is our customer service line, and yeah, I mean, I don't know if you guys really know, we joined a group, like we you know, merged our companies together with a few other companies, including FK Irons, Painful Pleasures, and Neo Metal Body Jewelry. The four companies are now one big company. We call it the BAA, the Body Art Alliance. And
Okay.
yeah, so check out some of our other brands and companies, and you know, we hope to see everybody soon at the conventions. We're really excited about it, getting back to and kicking this COVID out.
Yeah, same here, man. Okay. Lou, thanks a lot again. Hope to see you soon.
Yep. Take care. Thanks.
Thank you. Bye. Bye-bye, everyone. Hey, check WTE-events.com for the next upcoming tattoo conventions. Gabe, bye.